Jules here again from Tapping with Jules, and I'm joined again by Susie Kim. How you going, Susie?
Going good.
That's good. So we're back a week after our first session, where we were tapping on. You had an event in mind that you wanted to change from being in person to online. Yeah. So do you want to tell me what happened with that?
Yeah. So in the end, I ended up basically realizing that it has to change quite a bit more than I realized. So I'm going to push the dates back even more, into mid-May, I think, to give myself time and space. And I'm going to change the name. I don't know that yet. And just the focus and a bit of the description a little bit more to, just to be a bit more, I don't know, suitable to what's happening. Yeah. Like I think that when it was in person, it was a different beast, and online is like, it's just a different beast. Yeah.
Cool. So mid-May, that's good. So a slow launch is a good launch.
Great.
Like you don't want to feel like, I've only got 2 weeks and I've only got 2 people. That is not ideal energy to be running if it's pre-event. All right, great. And so how are you feeling about those decisions? Because you were saying you have trouble making decisions and you get a bit stuck and you procrastinate. So how do you feel about the decisions that you made or have made so far?
Those decisions were good. And actually a big part of it was thinking like, I really don't want to be, that's what became really obvious, is like, I really don't want to be stressed in this launch. Really don't. Like that's like the opposite of what I want it to be like. So
exactly.
That was like part of just pushing it out as well, giving myself more time. And also I've even dropped expectations, I think, around numbers and things. Like my focus around why I'm putting this out has changed. That was a development from last week as well, actually. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So I'm just going to, I like to each week just run by the little limiting beliefs that we came up with.
Yeah.
Because often the goal does change, like the person does go off and I don't want to do that, I want to do that. So that's fine. But usually the statements remain true. Do you know what I mean? As in, so I want you to just answer the percentage to which this feels true today. It's safe to be stuck. What percentage is that feel true?
It feels still a little bit true. Yeah, 50%, I'd say it still feels safe.
Yeah. And I procrastinate often.
Yeah, still probably 60%.
Yeah. I don't deserve to take up space.
Probably like 60%.
Yeah. I find it difficult to make decisions that lock me in.
Like 70%.
Okay. I will never live up to my own expectations.
Like 50%. Still there.
It's safe for me to expand into this next stage of my business.
I mean, right in this moment, it does feel safe, like 40%. But I
so
feel like
40% means not very safe.
Oh, does it? Okay. Oh, I see. So yeah, probably more like 60%.
Okay.
Maybe even 60, 70, but I feel like there's something there.
Okay, good. And I only work hard under pressure.
Yeah, like 50%.
Okay. So this is just sort of very typical in a way. So it's safe to be stuck was 80% last week, and that's now 50%. So 30% decrease is good. I procrastinate often was 60 to 70 this week, 60. I don't deserve to take up space was 60 to 70 this week, 60. Difficult to make decisions that lock me in last week was 80 this week, 70. Never live up to my own expectations was 50 to 60 this week, 50. And safe for me to expand into this next stage of my business was 50 this week, 60 to 70. And I only work hard under pressure was 60 down to 50. So this is what I find. It tends to things tend to go in the direction you want them by 10 or 20%. And that's sort of nice, sustainable change. Some things, like bounce up, but then after a couple of weeks, they might go down again. So anyway, it's just sort of interesting to observe those limiting beliefs kind of evolving over time, in the extent to which they feel true. So if you think about the new beast and you don't really know what it's called, like what would you like to be the focus of the session for today in terms of what you'd like help with with getting this out there?
Yeah, I think it's around, like I really want this experience of the launch to be like not stressful. And I don't want it to take up all of my time and attention, and I don't want to worry about it. It's things like that. It's like, I know now, because I decided, I was grappling with if I should run it at all, and now I know I do, and I will only do it in a way that's not stressful. So
okay,
kind of setting myself up for that, I suppose.
Okay, so in terms of a session goal, so at the moment, how stressed or worried do you feel about it?
At the moment, I don't feel that stressed, but I also haven't done anything yet. Like once I announce it, that's when I expect I'll be more stressed, right?
Because you'll be locking it in.
Because I'll be locking it in, exactly. Right, and I'll be like announcing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So and how far away do you think you are off announcing?
Like again, it's like, it doesn't really matter, like it's up to me, right? But ideally in the next few days to a week latest, if I'm giving myself enough time or generous time. Yeah,
okay. And so in terms of, so in tapping, obviously we're focusing on the negative stuff. So is there stuff that comes up around the announcing again? Like, because then I'm locked in and then I have to, or
there's stuff that comes up around deciding on the name a little bit. There's stuff that comes up around like the amount of effort that I anticipate may go into the marketing of it, which I don't want to put in that amount of effort. I just want to, there's anticipation around like potential worry. Like I really don't want to worry. It's things like, I don't want to, like, I think I dropped a lot of other things this time because I got stressed, and I don't want to do that. Like, this is a small part of my business. It's not, I want it to stay that way. I don't want it to take up all of this space.
Okay. And what is likely to happen that would convert this from being a small part of your business to all of a sudden taking up a lot of time and effort and worry and stuff?
Like, what would happen?
So is it all about
too much?
Yeah, right.
I would be feeling, driven by a lot of shoulds. Like I'd be feeling like I should be talking about it, or I should be doing a million things to market it. I would be feeling like probably there's still a bit of fear of failure. There would be that.
Yeah. Sure.
What else would happen? Yeah, it's like it's basically like I would be making choices to instead of going to the gym, like spending more time on doing a post for this, or things like those kinds of choices. I feel they like eat away, and I don't want to do that.
Okay, yeah. But is that something that you would typically do? Like if you have an event like this, it can sort of take over, and then you're not going to the gym and doing things to look after yourself, or?
Yeah, it can happen. I think it happened more with this, and I didn't quite expect it, right? Because it's the first launch of a longer series, and I don't normally do launches. So I do smaller launches, which feel smaller and easier. Yeah.
Okay. So this is the first time you're launching a program that goes over a number of weeks. So that feels more substantial. So it brings a bit more baggage. Is that what it means?
For sure.
Yeah. So in terms of like where you are now, what's kind of the next baby step, or the thing that's going to come up that will bring you some resistance, angst, negative emotion, avoidance?
Well, the very next thing is just going to be in some of the creation. Like, it's not a new creation, but it's in the reformulating of the event description and the name, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, do you want me to go beyond that? It's
Yeah.
almost like
well.
I'm going beyond that, because that part, even though there's resistance to that, I know I can do that, but then I'm afraid of what's going to come after that.
Okay. All right. Good. So let's start tapping.
Yeah.
So when you think about the next step is reformulating the event description, coming up with a name. So are you saying, is there stuff there?
There's a little bit of stuff there.
Yeah. So what comes up for you when you, well, actually, just in terms of a goal for the session, what feels like the thing that you want to reduce? So that it sounds like there's a fear of becoming stressed.
Yes, there is fear of becoming stressed. There's a fear of becoming stressed, and that was a big away motivator for me, not wanting, maybe thinking about not running it again.
Okay. Yeah.
You see what I mean? And then over the weekend, I was like, no, I definitely want to run it, but I just cannot have that same experience of being stressed.
Okay. So when you say that same experience, from when? From
even just like the last 6 weeks or so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So if we, so the last 6 weeks, you're feeling quite stressed about the rest and receive one and going through like all sorts of, will it be online, will it be in person? So you had a 6-week period of feeling like it was sort of taking over. Did you like?
Yeah. Maybe even, I mean, the last 2 weeks, I haven't been that stressed about it. So maybe like 4 to 5 weeks before that, it was definitely, it was stressful. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if I say to you, what's the fear of becoming stressed about this one? What out of 10, what would you give it? 10 being the max.
Fear of becoming stressed. Yeah, that's quite strong. That's like at least 80.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of a session goal, just to kind of keep it simple, let's see if we could reduce the fear of becoming stressed from 8 out of 10 to 5 out of 10. Would that feel better?
If it goes lower, great. But
I'm always aiming for a 0 to a 2, but I'm being conservative in setting the goal.
Sounds good.
So reducing it from an 8 to a 5, but really I'm hoping for a 2 or below. And if you had less fear about becoming stressed, how would that show up? Like, do you feel, how would that play out for you if you weren't so worried about this taking over?
Then I feel like it would feel like more of a blank slate, right? Which I get realistically it is the case.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel more like a blank slate. I would have more slate. I would have more, I guess, like just that creativity and inspiration from the moment and what's real now. You know, I wouldn't have as much kind of worry or even regret or anything. You know, I would just let things go and just move on and create now. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, more easily.
So do you find that the stress gets in the way of your creativity and inspiration and flow if you're in a stress
100%.
state?
Yeah, I get into my head, you know, and I don't want to be in my head.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. All right. So what would be something that would feel like that you could do with kind of flow and ease if this session had really helped you? Can you think of like a task? So
yeah, it's probably just like writing the kind of the event description up for the new revised program.
Yeah. And what feels hard about that now? What sort of challenges you around that now?
I guess just getting really clear on some of the wording feels challenging. I guess what feels hard is similar to last time. It's like, it's just a lot of little decisions.
Yeah.
And I know when something feels right and sounds right, but it just takes a bit of work to get there.
Yeah.
You know,
so would this be something that you would normally sort of procrastinate on? like just getting to the, got to make those little decisions, and then I find some flow and.
Yeah.
So when would you like to do this, to actually sit down and get clear on the wording to write up the event description for this new program?
Like today or tomorrow?
Yeah. And
today's probably not realistic, actually.
Okay.
I'm going to the gym tonight, so yeah, probably tomorrow.
Good. Well, that's important.
Yeah.
All right. So if you think about tomorrow sitting down, where would you be doing it? Like where you are now? Is that kind of your office or?
My office. It could be here or it could be at a cafe. Like I work pretty well outside as well.
Okay. So you'd just be sitting somewhere with your laptop and sitting down to write the event description. So what comes up as like a negative thought, feeling, sensation when you think about doing that?
Like too many ideas, because there's so many ways that I could describe the same thing. Okay. And I get into my head around, there's so much marketing dogma. So I get a bit into my head, like, should I phrase it like this? Should I phrase it like that? Is this people going to understand this? Is this too woo-woo? Is this not woo-woo enough? Is this clear? Do people get that as practical?
Yeah. So actually at the moment, how much clarity do you have around this as a percentage? Like
around the event description?
Yeah, the wording and like how you want it to look and feel, and
like 30 to 40%. That will probably reveal in the creation of it. So yeah,
true. Okay, all right, so we'll see if we can get that up to 60 at least. Okay, all right, so when you sit down to think, it's like too many ideas, so many ways I can phrase this. If you were to come up with like an emotion word, could you find one? Like, even though I feel.
It could be like in my head or overwhelmed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Which one sounds better? Which one feels better? Overwhelmed or in my head?
I think in my head. Yeah, is like I just don't work super well if I'm only in my head.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So in my head, 0 to 10, thinking about that task.
Like 70.
Yep.
60 to 70. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you feel that in your body somewhere at the moment?
Could be like a little feeling in my stomach.
Yeah.
A little bit nervous.
Mm-hmm. Nervous because?
I'm nervous because I know this pattern.
What do you mean?
Like I know this pattern, like if I get in my head and I just try to work it out, it's not very nice. It's not very pleasant,
Yeah.
It's not very useful either or effective.
Yeah. So is this where you kind of get stuck? Like, is this where you can get stuck if you get in your head about it? Okay.
Yes, definitely. And then I start asking myself a million questions and then I get overwhelmed. Yes.
Okay, there we go. There's the pattern. All right. And anything else you'd say about what it is about this task that has you feeling like in your head and a bit nervous in your stomach?
I guess I'm kind of thinking about how other people will, like whether they'll comprehend it or whether, I'm communicating it in a way that will land.
Any people in particular? Like, is there any kind of groups that you're thinking about?
Not really. It's just global. Yeah,
that's right.
I guess
will
women.
People get it? Did you say? Yeah, so it's aimed at women. And what's the concern? Like, is it going to land with them? Is it going to?
Yeah, is it going to resonate?
Yeah.
And then I guess the question under that is, am I doing the right thing?
Yeah.
In changing direction. Like, is that even right? I think so.
Okay. All right. Let's stop before the goalposts change again. Well, let's get tapping, because EFT is fantastic for getting you out of your head and like more into your body. So this is something that you can do you know, like if you sit down to do something and you get stuck on it. All right, so just repeat after me. Even though I feel in my head.
Even though I feel in my head.
Just thinking about tomorrow.
Just thinking about tomorrow.
Sitting down to write up the event description.
Sitting down to write up the event description.
There's a lot of little decisions.
There's a lot of little decisions.
So many ways to say what I want to say.
So many ways to say what I want to say.
And I feel a bit nervous in my stomach.
And I feel a bit nervous in my stomach.
Because I am familiar with this pattern of mine.
Because I'm familiar with this pattern of mine.
And it's not pleasant.
And it's not pleasant.
Being in my head.
Being in my head.
But I accept myself and how I feel.
But I accept myself and how I feel.
Are those words okay?
Mm-hmm.
Even though I'm feeling in my head about this.
Even though I'm feeling in my head about this.
When I think about sitting down to write up the new event description.
When I'm thinking about sitting down to write up the new event description.
There's just so many ideas.
There's just so many ideas.
There's lots of little decisions.
Lots of little decisions.
And if I get in my head like this.
And if I get in my head like this.
Then I can become overwhelmed.
Then I can become overwhelmed.
And that's not useful or pleasant.
And that's not useful or pleasant.
And I feel a little nervous in my stomach.
And I feel a little nervous in my stomach.
Just thinking about that happening.
Just thinking about that happening.
And I accept myself and how I feel.
And I accept myself and how I feel.
Even though I'm feeling in my head.
Even though I'm feeling in my head.
As I think about tomorrow writing up the new event description.
As I think about tomorrow writing up the new event description.
I'm wondering, will the women resonate with it?
I'm wondering, will the women resonate with it?
Was it even the right thing to change it?
Was it even the right thing to change it?
There's so many little decisions.
There are so many little decisions.
And I'm familiar with this pattern.
And I'm familiar with this pattern.
I'm getting stuck in my head about it.
Of getting stuck in my head about it.
And then I get overwhelmed.
And then I get overwhelmed.
And it's not pleasant and it's not useful.
And it's not pleasant and it's not useful.
And I feel nervous in my stomach.
And I feel nervous in my stomach.
Just thinking about this.
Just thinking about this.
And I accept myself and how I feel.
And I accept myself and how I feel.
All right, top of the head. In my head.
In my head.
Eyebrow point. I'm in my head.
I'm in my head.
Side of the eye. Feeling in my head about this.
Feeling in my head about this.
And a little nervous in my stomach.
And a little nervous in my stomach.
Because I'm in my head about it.
Because I'm in my head about it.
In my head.
In my head.
Feels a bit nervous in my stomach.
Feels a bit nervous in my stomach.
It's unpleasant when I get stuck in my head about things.
It's unpleasant when I get stuck in my head about things.
Okay, come back to the side of the hand. And so just do a little scan for me. Notice what you notice in terms of the feeling of being in your head. How intense does that feel now?
Yeah, it's still there. I don't even know what I said before, but like, yeah, like still 60, I'd say.
Yep. And how does it feel in the stomach?
The stomach feels like a bit softer. There's still something a little bit there, but it is a little bit softer.
Okay. And what are your thoughts doing when you think about sitting down to write up the new event description?
I guess my thoughts are like thinking, you know, there's always like a bit of a push when you're writing something new.
Mm-hmm.
So I am thinking that, and I'm also thinking, you know, I hope I don't procrastinate, or I hope I don't just find it too hard and then stop. Yeah. I hope I can focus. Things like that.
Okay, sure. Okay. All right. So repeat after me. Even though I'm still feeling in my head about this.
Even though I'm still feeling in my head about this.
When I think about writing up the event description tomorrow.
When I think about writing up the event description tomorrow.
I hope I don't procrastinate.
I hope I don't procrastinate.
I hope I don't find it too hard and stop.
I hope I don't find it too hard and stop.
I hope I can focus.
I hope I can focus.
I still feel it in my stomach a little bit.
I still feel it in my stomach a little bit.
And I accept myself and how I feel.
And I accept myself and how I feel.
Are those words okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even though I still feel in my head about this.
Even though I still feel in my head about this.
When I think about myself sitting down tomorrow.
When I think about myself sitting down tomorrow.
To write up the new event description.
To write up the new event description.
I'm thinking, I hope I don't procrastinate.
I'm thinking, I hope I don't procrastinate.
I hope I don't find this too hard and just stop.
I hope I don't find this too hard and just stop.
I hope I can focus.
I hope I can focus.
And I still feel a little something in my stomach.
And I still feel a little something in my stomach.
And I accept myself and how I feel.
And I accept myself and how I feel.
Even though I still feel in my head about this.
Even though I still feel in my head about this.
When I think about all the little decisions I've got to make.
When I think about all the little decisions I've got to make.
To sit down and write up this new event description.
To sit down and write up this new event description.
I'm thinking, I hope I don't procrastinate.
I'm thinking, I hope I don't procrastinate.
Or find it too hard and just stop.
Or find it too hard to stop.
I hope I can focus.
I hope I can focus.
And I still feel something in my stomach when I'm thinking about it.
And I still feel something in my stomach when I'm thinking about it.
And I accept myself and how I feel.
And I accept myself and how I feel.
Okay, great job. Top of the head. Oh yes, please drink water at will. Still in my head about this.
In my head about this.
In my head.
In my head.
In my head.
In my head.
Feeling something in my stomach still.
Feeling something in my stomach still.
Still in my head about it.
Still in my head about it.
Still in my head.
Still in my head.
This in my head feeling.
In my head feeling.
And a little something in the stomach as well.
And a little something in the stomach as well.
Okay, let's come back to the side of the hand. So what are you noticing now when you think about that task?
Yeah, like it feels like pretty easy, really. Like nothing that I haven't done before. It's fine.
Okay. So do you still feel like you're a bit stuck in your head about it, or?
I think that I can still notice those thoughts of like, what if I procrastinate?
Yeah.
But
so
it
go
does
there.
feel more available. I could go there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like because we've got to focus on the negative still. Like, what number would you give the in my head feeling? Was it 6 last time?
Yeah, like probably a 4. Like it's gone down.
Okay. Yeah. And so see if you can feel into the like what the negative thoughts are, what you're imagining could happen.
Yes, the imagining is just, again, it's like, oh, it's so hard to focus. It's sort of like that first, I don't know, 15 minutes or so of just like staying with the task.
Yeah.
And then like, what if, then it becomes, there's always that part where I'm like, oh, having to consider different wordings. It's just like the labor of it, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I would love it to be just very, very easy. And you know what? Once I do those things, it is easy. That's the thing. Like once you're done, you're like, oh yeah, that's easy. It's great.
Yeah, but this is a snagging point, isn't it? Like where you can, all right. And are you feeling this in your body anywhere? When you think about that, it might be hard to focus, just staying with the task the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, like it could be a little thing in my chest potentially.
Okay.
It's like the feeling in my body is more like of wanting to leave. That's like it's like, yes, it could be something in my chest, but it's more a feeling of like wanting to get up and leave. Like this is hard. I'm gonna leave.
Okay, great. And feel free to like stand up and move around if you want to. Like, don't feel like if your body really does want to do that, it's allowed to.
That. Yeah, great.
All right. So does in my head still feels like the right words, even though I still feel in my head about this?
It could be, yeah. Yeah, I think it's like worry. It's like worry, isn't it?
Yeah. Worry 0 to 10.
Yeah, worry. Yeah, like 4 or 5. Like there's just a worry of like, what if I don't do it?
What if I don't like do the task?
Yeah, like it's the same stuff. Like, what if I don't finish it? What if I stop because I think it's hard?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, great.
Same stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Even though I have this worry, thinking about tomorrow, sitting down to write the new event description, I feel like this is hard. My body wants to get up and leave. Because I'm thinking, oh, what if I don't do it?
What if I don't do it?
What if I don't finish it?
What if I don't finish it?
What if I stop and procrastinate?
What if I stop and procrastinate?
There's all these different wordings to consider. And it can be so hard to focus. I feel like I want to get up and leave. And I accept myself and how I feel. Are those words okay? Even though I have this worry. When I think that tomorrow, I want to sit down and do this new event description. And I'm imagining it'll be so hard to focus. Just that first 15 minutes. Staying with the task. And I'm like, oh, considering all the different wordings. My body feels like it wants to get up and leave. Because this is hard. And this is where I get stuck. And I accept myself and how I feel. Even though I have this worry. Thinking that tomorrow. I want to write up the new event description. I'm thinking, oh, what if I don't do it? What if I don't finish it and I just stop? I feel like this is hard. It's hard to focus. And it's hard to just stay with the task. And in my body, I feel like I want to get up and leave. But I accept myself and all this worry. Okay, great job. Top of the head. This worry. My body wants to get up and leave. This worry. Feeling worried. This is hard. My body wants to get up and leave.
My body wants to get up and leave.
This worry.
This worry.
Okay. So coming back to the side of the hand. Have a little drink if you want to. So just notice what you notice. Thinking about this task tomorrow to write the new event description.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like I feel like doing it right now. Any worry
about
tomorrow? I feel a little bit of worry about tomorrow, but that's more like, oh no, maybe I should do it today.
Forget tomorrow, let's do it today. So feel into the worry, like what little thoughts come to your mind, any little sensations in the body?
I think the worry is always like, because for me, I know that I work in bursts. Mm-hmm. And I also work in bursts of inspiration. And like, if I'm really tired, I'm not going to force myself because it just doesn't really work that well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the worry is always like, cool, am I going to be able to get into the flow of writing, you know?
Yeah.
And most days, if I'm rested, it's available. It's only if I'm really tired that it's not.
Okay. And is anything likely to happen that might make you tired?
If I go to sleep late, then yeah, probably be okay. I think I'll be okay. Yeah.
Okay. So worry 0 to 10, thinking, oh, what if I'm tired and I can't get into the flow? I can't find a burst of inspiration.
Yeah, it's actually not that high. It's like 2.
Okay. Notice anything in the body, Susie?
Like a little bit of holding in my stomach, I suppose.
Yeah. The feeling of wanting to get up and leave, is that?
That is not so much there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So just sort of worry, like just imagining, oh, what if I'm tired and I just can't get into it? Like, is that sort of what you're thinking?
Yeah, like what if I'm not in the right state tomorrow for some reason, or
yeah, sure, okay,
you know.
And then what would happen? Like if for whatever reason you weren't in the right state, what would happen?
Right, and then I would just keep putting it off, right? And then I've got clients on Thursday and Friday, so then I potentially have to put it off till maybe Friday. I've got a bit more time. I can't really remember.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't want it to be a hanging over my head thing.
Yeah, you know? That's right. Yeah, you don't want the flurry.
I don't want the flurry. I don't want to be so stressed. I don't want to worry about it.
That's right. That's right. Okay. All right, doing great. Even though I still have a bit of worry.
Even though I still have a bit of worry.
Thinking that tomorrow. I want to write this new event description for the new event. Because I'm thinking, what if I'm tired and I'm not in the right state of mind? And then I can't get into the flow of writing it. And I'll procrastinate. And then Thursday and Friday, I've got clients. And I just don't want this hanging over my head. And I feel this worry in my stomach. And I accept myself and how I feel. Even though I still have a little bit of worry. As I think about writing the new event description tomorrow. What if I'm tired and I just can't find a burst of inspiration? And I can't get into the flow of writing it. And I just end up procrastinating. I'm worried that with clients on Thursday and Friday. This will still be hanging over my head by the weekend. I don't want the worry of it.
I don't want the worry of it.
And I feel this little holding in my stomach.
And I feel this little holding in my stomach.
And I accept myself and how I feel.
And I accept myself and how I feel.
Even though there's still a little bit of worry.
Even though there's still a little bit of worry.
I could end up procrastinating on this.
I could end up procrastinating on this.
If I'm not in the right state of inspiration tomorrow.
If I'm not in the right state of inspiration tomorrow.
This could be hanging over my head for the rest of the week.
This could be hanging over my head for the rest of the week.
And I just don't want to have that worry.
And I just don't want to have that worry.
And I feel this in my stomach.
And I feel this in my stomach.
And I accept myself and how I feel.
I accept myself and how I feel.
All right, this worry.
This worry.
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 I feel it holding in my stomach.
I feel that holding in my stomach.
Worry.
Worry.
Worry, I might procrastinate.
Worry, I might procrastinate.
This worry is holding in my stomach.
Worry, holding my stomach.
This worry.
This worry.
In my stomach.
In my stomach.
Okay, so come back to the side of the hand. And just imagine yourself tomorrow sometime sitting down with your laptop to write the event description. Anything coming through that's a negative thought, feeling, sensation. A yawn is a sign of neurological release, so that's a good sign.
It feels okay. There's like a very small twinge in my stomach, but it feels a little bit almost like excitement, I suppose, which is actually quite nice.
So any charge to the worry? What if you're tired tomorrow? There's no flow, there's no inspiration.
Yeah, like there is a little charge, but it's definitely very mental.
Okay, yeah. How do you know it's mental?
Because it feels like it's like back in my head.
Okay. And what are the thoughts back in your head?
It's like the thoughts of like, you know, we know this pattern, you know, it could happen at any point. You know.
That's right. And when you think about it like that, oh, this could happen at any point. I could slide back into procrastination. Does that make it kind of go up again a little bit? Yeah. And is it worry or something else? Thinking that, yeah, that could happen.
It is a worry. It's almost like not quite defeat, but there's something like it's a very negative. Does feel like a very negative thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a little gremlin, you know, being like a very negative little gremlin, being like, well, you know, you know, like a really cranky lady being like, well, you know, like a negative cranky lady.
Okay. Yeah. So does defeat feel like too strong a word? Like, even though I feel a bit defeated, thinking, yep, it could happen.
Yeah, okay, I see.
Worry.
It's kind of like the rug could get pulled out.
There you go. Yep.
And it's like it's not within my control because it is an old pattern, and you never know when it's gonna set in.
Yeah. Okay.
Sort of, and that's not quite logical because I think it has softened a lot, but
it's usually not.
Yeah. It's usually not. Yeah.
Like what comes out of the unconscious. So it's not in my control. It is an old pattern. The rug could get pulled out at any time. Okay. So will we say even though I feel worried or defeated or something else.
Oh, I see. Like, what's the feeling?
Yeah.
I guess it is a worry, you know. It's sort of
Yeah.
like I'm looking over my shoulder, being like,
Yeah. So 0 to 10 on that, thinking, yep, my little gremlins are right. Could happen.
Could happen. Yeah, like 50% to be realistic.
Yep.
Like
Okay.
it's there.
And so in the stomach or anywhere else?
It's like it's behind me. It's like
Okay, really good. Even though I still feel this worry.
Even though I still feel this worry.
Thinking that tomorrow I'll sit down and write the new event description.
Thinking that tomorrow I'll sit down and write the new event description.
There's like a negative little gremlin.
There's like a negative little gremlin.
Saying, well, you know this pattern.
Saying, well, you know this pattern.
This procrastination could happen at any point.
Procrastination could happen at any point.
The rug could get pulled out.
The rug could get pulled out.
And it's not in my control.
And it's not in my control.
Because it is an old pattern.
Because it is an old pattern.
And it feels like it's behind me.
And it feels like it's behind me.
And I accept myself and how I feel.
And I accept myself and how I feel.
Even though I feel this worry.
Even though I feel this worry.
It's like I'm looking over my shoulder.
It's like I'm looking over my shoulder.
It's like it's behind me.
Like it's behind me.
It feels like it's not in my control.
It feels like it's not in my control.
This is an old pattern of mine.
This is an old pattern of mine.
I could have the intention to write that new event description tomorrow.
I could have the intention to write that new event description tomorrow.
But the rug could get pulled out at any moment.
But the rug could get pulled out at any moment.
And I accept myself and how I feel.
And I accept myself and how I feel.
Even though I feel this worry.
Even though I feel this worry.
When I think about setting this goal to write the new event description tomorrow.
When I think about setting this goal to write the new event description tomorrow.
It's like there's a negative little gremlin.
Like there's a negative little gremlin.
In the back of my head.
In the back of my head.
Saying the rug could get pulled out from underneath you.
Saying the rug could get pulled out from underneath you.
It's not in your control.
It's not in your control.
This is an old pattern.
This is an old pattern.
And I feel like I'm looking over my shoulder.
I feel like I'm looking over my shoulder.
Like it's behind me somehow.
Like it's behind me somehow.
And I accept myself and how I feel.
And I accept myself and how I feel.
Okay, top of the head. This worry.
This worry.
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 I feel like I've got to look over my shoulder.
I feel like I look over my shoulder.
It feels like it's behind me.
I feel like it's behind me.
This worry.
This worry.
I could procrastinate again.
I could procrastinate again.
This worry feels like it's just behind me.
Feels like it's just behind me.
I feel like I've got to be looking over my shoulder.
I feel like I've got to be looking over my shoulder.
Because that rug could get pulled out at any time.
Because that rug could get pulled out at any time.
Okie dokie.
That's a good one.
Hey?
That's a good one.
It's fun, isn't it? An EFT is a fun way to rewire the brain, isn't it? I knew you'd be fun to tap with. Okay, so do a little scan for me. Think about tomorrow I'm setting this intention, this goal, sit down, write the new event description. Still got some worry or anything else showing up?
Yeah, it is interesting. It's like not so much a gremlin, it's like a little shadow of it, or you know, it's definitely like it could be there. So yeah, but it's not quite there at the moment anyway. You see what I mean?
Gremlin or the worry?
The gremlin isn't there. And the worry, even the worry actually is not there in this moment. It's more like, I know that it could be there, but
okay,
it is,
sure.
but it is.
That's okay. Yeah. So I know that it could be there, but you're not in touch with it in this moment.
It's not there right now, no. It's like,
okay. So when you really, so does it feel like a 0 or like a 1 or a 2 or?
Feels like a 1, you know. Oh God, it's so much like it's similar, isn't it? It's so much like, well, it's not there right now, but I know that it could come back.
Yeah, that's just, we call that, anyway, I won't go into what we call that. But did you feel anything in the body with this worry?
Body feels good. Body feels like mainly relaxed.
Okay. And
even excited. Yeah.
Okay. If you can feel it a little bit more to the worry that it could be there, can you get a bit more specific about what could happen to, like imagining that, well, what if it is there tomorrow? What if the rug gets pulled out from underneath you and tomorrow you're not inspired, you're tired, you're not in the right state of mind, you find yourself procrastinating.
Sometimes it's like if I get interrupted, if I'm really concentrating, I get interrupted, that really gives me the shits.
Yeah. So imagine that you sit down and you're getting into it, you find a bit of flow and you get interrupted.
Yeah.
Like what comes up?
That's very frustrating.
Yeah. So how would the worry go up if you imagine and then?
Yeah. It's almost like I put focus on a pedestal.
You what?
So like I've put focus on a pedestal. So I'm like worried about not being able to focus and then worried about getting interrupted if I am in that flow state. And then
yeah. So if you imagine that you've got into a bit of a flow state, then you're interrupted, and then what? Like what?
That just give me the shits. Oh, yeah. Excuse me.
That's okay. It's fine to swear. That swear word's okay anyway. No, you can say whatever you want. So imagining that could happen, what is that, worry or frustration or something else?
Yeah, it's frustration and it's a feeling of why even bother. You know, if for that particular scenario, like if I'm going to get interrupted, that's like there was no point or something.
Okay.
Yeah, do you know what? Like the image that I have, right?
Yeah.
Which is really like, it's like there's like little drops of gold and I have to run around and make sure that I'm in the right place to catch it. That's what it is. That's the image.
Yeah.
I'm running around being like, oh, it's here now.
And is that like the inspiration or the flow state? It's just like a little tiny drop of gold that you've got to
like, oh, it's dropping here now. I got to get there. Okay, now it's dropping here. Now I'm at a client. I can't get there now, you know. But it's like
tiny little windows.
Like I got to like be there. I've got to be there.
Yeah.
And I can create it, but it just takes more effort. A lot more effort. Yeah.
So what do you imagine might interrupt you?
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Look, the biggest threat is myself. The biggest threat is my own procrastination, right? The biggest threat is me doing something else. The second biggest threat is my partner.
Yeah. So you could interrupt yourself or your partner. So pick one. If the biggest risk is you, what would happen that you would interrupt yourself?
Oh, I would look on my phone or I would just do something else.
Okay. So will we say, even though I feel frustrated or worried thinking about that?
Yeah, you know, the frustration is quite strong. It is worry, but it's like, it's worry and then I'm ready to get frustrated.
Okay. So worry 0 to 10. Imagining you interrupt yourself.
Imagining me interrupting myself. Oh, that's very annoying. I think it's frustrated. I feel very frustrated.
Okay, 0 to 10.
Yeah. Frustrated at me interrupting myself. Yeah, that's quite high. That's like 7.
Yeah.
Like it's very frustrating. Oof.
Yeah. And do you feel this in the body somewhere?
Yeah, probably like my chest, my face, like it's just like
from your chest to your face.
Yeah, chest to my face. Yeah, just like the front of my.
Yep. And what's it feel like?
Yeah, it just feels
like a roar,
like a roar, like a fiery. Like I just want to, get angry.
Yeah, because why do you want to get angry?
Because it's so dumb. Because it's so dumb.
To interrupt yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
To distract yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm 33, I'm like, come on, like I've done law, I'm like, come on, like there's just, I know there's a bit of judgment there, but it's just like, it's so dumb.
Go Judge Judy, go be as judgy as you want. That's what I love about EFT, like really get into the judgment, All right, so even though I feel this frustration, imagining that tomorrow I've started the task. I'm writing the new event description. And then I interrupt myself. Just by looking at my phone, getting distracted. And I just feel like I want to get angry. Like it's so dumb. And I feel this fiery sensation from my chest to my face. Like, rah!
Like,
so dumb and frustrating.
Oh, it's so dumb and frustrating.
And I accept myself and how I feel. Even though I'm really frustrated. Imagining that I do get into a flow tomorrow and start writing. And then the biggest risk to me is myself. I could interrupt myself. By looking at my phone. Like, how dumb is that? And I just want to get angry. And I've got this fiery roar. From my chest to my face. I'm like, Argh! Oh. It's so dumb that I do this to myself. And I accept myself and all my frustration. Even though I feel really frustrated. It's like I'm running around. And the inspiration is like little drops of gold. Falling from the sky. And I've got to be there to catch it. And I could get interrupted by myself. Just looking at my phone, doing something else. And I just want to get angry. It's so dumb that I do this to myself. And I feel this fiery sensation from my chest to my face. It's like, Rah!
Oh.
So frustrated. And I accept myself and how I feel. This frustration. This fiery frustration. From my chest to my face. It's like, Rah! This frustration. This fiery frustration. From my chest to my face. I'm like, Argh! So dumb. All right, so notice what you notice, thinking that I finally get into a little flow and then, whoops, there's the phone and I'm sucked into a hole of looking at Facebook or whatever. Frustration, 0 to 10 at the thought of interrupting yourself.
Yeah, it's actually significantly decreased. It's not really there, it's like 1 or 2. Interesting. Yeah.
How can you tell it's low? What do you notice is different?
I've noticed that like I can't really feel that frustration, like I'm not connected to it. It feels quite sort of clear and empty in my head.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to even think about what those thoughts were before. Like I'd have to really recall them.
I'll help with that.
Can't even remember what are we even doing.
Okay, good. EFT stoned, great. And how does it feel? It like was from the chest to the head kind of thing, like any sensation there?
Yeah, there's a little bit of sensation in my belly. Like yeah, I feel like it's connected from my throat to my belly. Like it feels, it could be nerves. It could be excitement, but yeah, it could be nerves.
Okay.
It's I would say overall it's okay.
Yeah. And what's the frustration about? Like the 1 or 2, why is it still a 1 or 2?
I guess I would say it's still a 1 or 2. Yeah, what are we gonna say? What are the thoughts?
Yeah,
what that?
Why is it still that?
I guess because like, okay, so if I think about interrupting myself, like that is still a frustrating concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
you know, I just keep thinking of like, you know, Johann Hari wrote this book with Focus because it's such a modern, like I know why it's happening. You know, I guess it's a frustrating thought because it's just, I don't know, modern trappings. I don't know if this is where we're meant to go with it, but it feels like, like I'm bringing it on myself.
Yeah.
You know, like I know why. And
why?
Well, because I'm looking at my phone whenever I want, you know.
Yeah.
I get that it's broken the way that our brains function.
Yeah, phones have been helpful in some regards, haven't they? But not in others.
Not in like long-term focus regards.
No. All right. So let's see how these words go. Even though I still feel a bit of frustration. If I imagine that tomorrow I do get into a flow. And I'm writing the new event description. And then I interrupt myself by looking at my phone. I'm just frustrated because I'm bringing this on myself.
Oh yeah, and it's because the distractions are inevitably of less value than what I'm distracting myself from. It's like I'm doing something less important.
That's right, okay. And I'm doing something less important than what I'm trying to work on.
I'm doing something less important than what I'm trying to work on.
And I feel this from my belly to my throat.
And I feel this from my belly to my throat.
And I accept myself and how I feel. Even though I still feel a bit frustrated. Imagining that I do get myself inspired in writing tomorrow. And I'm writing up the new event description. And then I find myself looking at my phone. A distraction that is inevitably of less value. Than the task that I'm trying to work on. And I feel this sensation from my throat to my belly.
And I feel this sensation from my throat to my belly.
And I accept myself and all this frustration.
And I accept myself and all this frustration.
Even though I'm still frustrated.
Even though I'm still frustrated.
Because I bring this on myself.
Because I bring this on myself.
I get into a flow and I'm inspired to write.
I get into a flow and I'm inspired to write.
And tomorrow I might actually be writing the new event description.
And tomorrow I might actually be writing the new event description.
And then I'll just be distracting myself looking at my phone.
And then I'll just be distracting myself looking at my phone.
Something that's inevitably less value.
For something that is of inevitably less value.
Than the task at hand.
Than the task at hand.
And I feel the frustration from my throat to my belly.
And I feel the frustration from my throat to my belly.
And I accept myself and how I feel.
And I accept myself and how I feel.
All right, top of the head. Still a bit frustrated.
Still a bit frustrated.
Frustration.
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 Frustration from my throat to my belly.
Frustration from my belly to my throat.
Yeah. This frustration.
This frustration.
Frustration.
Oh, frustration.
From my belly to my throat.
From my belly to my throat.
Frustrated because I'm bringing it on myself.
Frustrated because I'm bringing it on myself.
Okie dokie. Come back to the side of the hand. And just notice what you notice.
Yeah, I'm feeling again like a bit more empty.
Yeah.
In my head.
Yeah. Empty's good. Yeah.
I'm feeling almost a little bit tired.
Yeah, that's normal EFT. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yawns are great.
Yeah, I'm like tired behind the eyes.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So what comes up when you think about tomorrow, sitting down at the laptop,
Yeah.
going to get writing this event description. What if I interrupt myself? What if I procrastinate?
So funny. It's almost like after going through all these different scenarios, I'm just like, oh, I'm tired of these scenarios.
Yeah.
Like, just get on with it, you know.
Yeah. It does get boring, doesn't it? All the kerfuffle in your head about such stupid things.
Like, God, what's your next little excuse? But it's so fascinating.
Yeah,
It's
so
funny.
fascinating. Yeah. So any charge around frustration?
Not actually in the moment. I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't feel frustrated right now. I just feel like because of it, it's tired. Yeah.
Good. And what about if your partner was?
Tapping?
Yeah, you keep tapping.
Yeah.
What if your partner was to interrupt you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that could be frustrating. I'll probably just tell him not to interrupt me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Feeling empowered?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So do you feel like we've got a 0, a 1?
Yeah, I think it's at like 0 at the moment.
Okay. All right. Good. So how do you feel about doing that task tomorrow?
Yeah, like it feels pretty possible. I'm even like I could potentially do it today if I have time.
So not in your head, not stressed.
No, I feel like right now, like it's like, oh, you know, it's not that hard, you know, just do it. You know.
Okay.
Like, come on.
All right, well, we might get out while we're going then, hey? Does the body feel okay? Body feel
Yeah, the
relaxed?
body feels great.
Body feel good.
Really good. Yeah, really relaxed,
Yeah.
really like alive, quite open. Yeah, it feels really good.
Okay.
Ah,
Okay, well, I think we'll just leave it there and let's see what happens, hey?
yeah, it's good.
And we'll catch up with you next week and see what happens.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Susie.